Hi, second grade. How's everyone doing? Awesome. Great, great. Yeah. Happy Thursday, everyone. Right, we got 2 more days of math together this week and then a long weekend. Is that a secret? Did you not know about that? Well, got a longer weekend coming. But right now, let's get started with some math for the day, right? We're going to continue working with some measurements like we've been doing. All right, we got our ruler still. And let's start with some number bonds. Okay, so remember our number bonds? They're right ways to break down a number. So for example, we have the number 10 showing and the 9 showing, right? So I know that if I have 9 and I want to get to 10, I just need one more, right? I just need one more here. Great, so there's a couple addition and subtraction. Do you remember this from yesterday? Right, I've been doing this a couple times this week already. So let's read these together. 9 plus 1 equals 10. 10 minus 9 equals 1. 1 plus 9 equals 10. And 10 minus 1 equals 9. Good work, second grade. Thank you for all your participation. Love hearing your voices this afternoon. How about 10 is 5, and how many more do we need? Raise your hand if you know. How many more do I need to make it 10? Okay, let's shout them out in 3, 2, 1. Yeah, we need 5 more, right? Very good. So 10 is 5 and 5. So let's read right? Think about some addition and subtraction sentences that we can write for this. Maybe you think of one. Maybe something plus something equals 10 or 10 minus something equals something. Great. Now, since these are the same numbers, we only have 2 of them. So let's read these out. 5 plus 5 equals 10, right? And 10 minus 5 equals 5, right? Or we can say 10 minus 5 also equal to 5. Great. How about with 6, right? Maybe you can hold up 6 fingers and see how many more fingers you need to get to 10. Raise your hand if you have an answer. Great, loving all the hands. So 10 equals 6 plus what? Everyone? Love it. 4. Great. So we can say 6 plus 4 equals 10, or 10 minus 6 equals 4. Great, let's keep going. 4 plus 6 equals 10, and 10 minus 4 equals 6. Thank you, second grade. All right, now we're starting with 7. Give you a second to think about what number goes right here. What's our number that goes here? Okay, raise your hand, have it in your head. Okay, ready? Okay, let's shout it out in 3, 2, 1. Awesome, right? A 3 goes here. Now think about an addition or subtraction fact. Something plus something equals 10, or 10 minus something equals something. Great, now let's read them out. Hopefully the one in your head is up here. 7 plus 3 equals 10. 10 minus 7 equals 3. 3 plus 7 equals 10. And 10 minus 3 equals 7. Good work. Okay, we got another one. Raise your hand if you have an answer. Okay, loving the hands I'm seeing. Good, good work, good work, good work. Okay, now let's shout this out in 3, 2, 1. Great. 8 and 2. Right now, think about addition and a subtraction fact. Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're ready. Good, right? I'm seeing some thumbs. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Second grade, good work. You got there in the back? Yeah? Good. Okay, let's read these out. 8 plus 2 equals 10. 10 minus 8 equals 2. 2 plus 8 equals 10. and 10 minus 2 equals 8. Good work. All right, now, we've been measuring things. Let me make myself big again. We've been measuring things with our ruler this week, right? And we started, if you remember way back when, with our place value blocks, right? With our one block at a time. Now, can we measure everything in the world with this small ruler? Remember yesterday I talked about how would you measure how tall you are? Right? How many of these do you think you would need to measure your whole height? Right? Look, my head is even bigger. I know I have a big head, but my head is even taller or longer than this one ruler. Right? If you have a hand, right? A hand would be good, but your whole body, maybe not so good. Right? Think about if you wanted to measure the height of your teachers or how long your car is, right? Your parents' car, or how tall your house is. This isn't a very good tool for that, right? So we're going to be looking at some different, bigger tools that we can use today. And one of those tools is a meter stick. Now, a meter stick, right? This is 10 centimeters. A meter stick is when we have 10 of these together. Okay, so one of these is 10 centimeters, right? I have it from 0 to 10 over here with 5 in the middle. I need 10 of these. So let's think about how many centimeters that is. To do that, we're going to count up by 10. Ready? Now, if you're a little confused about what that means, maybe I can start and I want by the end everyone participating, because once you hear it, I think you're going to be like, oh, right, Mr. Sachin, I remember that. We can do that. Okay, let's count up by 10. Okay, with these ones. 10, 20, 30. You got this? Go. Let's all count now. 40, 50. That's 5 is 50. 60, 70, 80, 90. And what's the next one? Great, 100, right? So when we get 10 of these together, we make 100 centimeters. And that 100 centimeters has a special name. It's called 1 meter. So 100 centimeters is equal to 1 meter, or 1 meter is equal to 100 centimeters. It's kind of like if you're working with money, right? If you have 1 penny, it's 1 cent, and you get 100 of those together, you get that $1 bill, right? It can be 100 cents or $1. Just like that, we have a different name when we have 100 centimeters, and that's called 1 meter. Now, you might be wondering, how long is 1 meter? Now, I want you to try this out, right? Because you're right at about that age where you have this special superpower where almost all of you have a meter stick. And you're like, what? Mr. Sachin, you didn't give us a meter stick. I know, but that man up there, God, he kind of gave you all a meter stick. Now, it's not perfect, but it's pretty close. So I want you to take your, stand up for this one. And I want you to stretch out just like this, right? Your whole arm. Now I'm not far enough, okay? Kind of like this. But for me, right, I'm a little bit bigger than you all. So if I do that, that's way more than a meter. For me, a meter is like this much. But I think for you, if you stretch out your arms all the way, that's almost a meter, maybe a little bit longer. Now, do you see how much bigger that is than just one piece of paper, right? 10 centimeters, it's about 10 of those. And that you can use to measure longer things, right? If you imagine if you had a ruler that's that long, you might have one in the classroom, right, that you can look at. So that might be a better tool to use than this, okay? So you don't have to open your workbooks yet. I'm going to show my workbook because I've thought about some objects that you might measure. Okay, so here's our tools that we could use. We can use the meter stick that we just talked about, a 10 centimeter ruler, like the one you have. I know yours is 20, but if you fold it in half, it becomes 10 centimeters, or a 1 centimeter cube, right? That's just one of these on your cube rulers. Now, let's say you're measuring your shoe. What would be the best tool to measure that? I'm not going to put my shoe up here again. But what do you think the best tool is to measure your shoe? Be a meter stick, a 10 centimeter ruler, or a 1 centimeter cube? Okay, who thinks the meter stick is the best? Raise your hand. Okay, that could work. How about a 10 centimeter ruler? Who thinks that's the best? Okay, and how about a 1 centimeter cube? Yeah, I think the 1 centimeter cube might be too small, right? You might need a lot of these. Now, out of these two, right, I don't think your shoe is as big as a meter stick, right? I don't think your shoe is that big. Maybe some of you have ginormous feet, but I think for most of us, a 10 centimeter ruler would be perfect. Now, I'm not saying your feet are this small, right? You might need 2 or 3 of these, right? But it's better than just getting out our giant meter stick, right? So for a shoe, it might be about 20 centimeters. A 10 centimeter ruler is perfect, right? You might need 1, 2, or 3 of them to measure them, probably 2 or 3 of them. Now, how about a tic tac? One small tic tac. What's the best tool for that? I want you to think. Be a meter stick, a 10 centimeter ruler, or a 1 centimeter cube. You have an idea? Great. Who thinks a meter stick is perfect? Who thinks the 10 centimeter ruler is perfect? And how about the 1 centimeter cube? I'm seeing a lot of hands for the 1 centimeter cube. Yeah, I think so too, right? Because our tic tac, if you remember, is super small. Maybe about the size of one of these cubes, or maybe if you got lucky and got a big one, right? Maybe 2. But I think a tic tac is about 1 centimeter. So the centimeter cube would be perfect. Okay. Next, how about your height? Your height. What would be the best tool for your height? How tall you are? Meter stick, 10 centimeter ruler, or 1 centimeter cube? Okay, give me a thumbs up if you're ready for an answer. Perfect. Raise your hand if you think a meter stick's perfect. Raise your hand if you think 10 centimeter ruler. And raise your hand if you think 1 centimeter cube. Really? No one for the cube? Yeah, that would be a little silly, right? I think I saw the most hands for the meter stick because we're all pretty big, right? Much bigger than our little 10 centimeter ruler. So the meter stick makes the most sense, right? You might be about 1 meter, 30 centimeters. And we'll talk more about what that means later. But the meter stick would be perfect. You might need more than 1 meter stick, right? Because you're probably taller than 1 meter, but that would be a great tool. Now, how about your dog? Which is the best tool to measure your dog? Okay, who thinks it's a meter stick? Who thinks it's a 10 centimeter ruler? Who thinks it's a centimeter cube? I think I saw some hands for both of these. If you have a Chihuahua or a really small dog, maybe, right, you might use 2 or 3 of these 10 centimeter rulers. But I think for most of us, we have medium or bigger sized dogs, right? So your meter stick would be perfect. Now, lastly, the school. How tall the school is. Which tool can we use to measure how tall the school is? The whole school. Raise your hand if you think it's the 1 centimeter cube. Ooh, almost got you there. Raise your hand if you think it's a 10 centimeter ruler. How about the meter stick? Yeah, I agree, right? I don't know how tall the school is. I'm not entirely sure, but it's really tall, right? So the meter stick is definitely the best tool here. Now, if you open up your workbooks, now you can get the workbooks out to page 46. Page 46, there are some objects that you might measure. Okay, like a school bus. I know we don't really have a school bus at the school, but think about the buses you see on the road. A nail. Maybe you've seen this when you're helping your mom or dad out around the house. A spoon, you've definitely seen one of these. And then a globe. A globe is like the small earth that you have in your classroom that spins around. And your tool options are 1 centimeter cube, 10 centimeter ruler, meter stick, and meter tape. Now, a meter tape, a stick is like flat, right? You can't really move, but a meter tape is something just like this paper that you can move around. So it's good when we're trying to measure around a rounder object, right? If you need to bend the ruler, because a meter stick, you can't bend, right? It's flat. But a measuring tape, you can spin around. So on page 46, I want you to think about what is the best tool to use to measure the length of a bus, the length of a nail, the length of a spoon, and the length around a globe. Okay, try to pick the best option for each of these. Now, in case you don't know, a nail is not that big. If you get out your thumb, a nail is usually shorter than your thumb, maybe about half the size of your thumb. I know your thumbs are a little smaller than mine, but usually a nail is about half the size of your thumb. I think we know how big the other objects are. Okay, remember, the globe is going to be round. Okay, so take 5 minutes by yourself, right? Quietly by yourself to answer these 4 questions, and then we'll check answers after. All right, now let's think about these, right? A bus. Now, a 1 centimeter cube is way too small, right? And so is a 10 centimeter cubes. I've never seen a bus this small. If you have, please let me know. Maybe your toy bus is, but we're thinking about a real bus, right? So in this case, right, a meter stick would be the best option. You could use a meter tape, right? You could totally use a tape, but it's not really a round thing, right? You can measure it flat. So a meter stick works for this one. Now, question 3, the length of a nail. Definitely not a meter stick, and definitely not a meter tape. Those are way too long. Now, if we're measuring something like a nail, and we said it's about half the size of your thumb, we could totally use a 10 centimeter ruler, but it's also small enough where you could use a 1 centimeter cube also, right? So I'm going to circle 1 centimeter cube, but if you circle 10 centimeter ruler, that's okay too, right? Both of these answers can be correct. How about number 4, the spoon? Now, a spoon, unless you have a really, really tiny, tiny spoon, the 1 centimeter cube is way too small. And the meter stick and meter tape, unless you have a giant spoon, right? Like your Goliath or Gulliver, right? Those would be way too big. So the one that's just right, just like Goldilocks, right? The one that's just right would be a 10 centimeter ruler. And I can get out my real spoon to show you. Right? If I were to measure this, just like this, right? I know that up to here is 10 centimeters. And then I can move it up and see that it ends right here on the 9. So 10 plus 9 gives me 19 centimeters, right? Or if I had a little bit of a longer ruler, I can again see that it's about 19 centimeters. All right, so here's my spoon. Now, how about the length around a globe? Now, remember, a globe is a round thing, right? And it's kind of hard to measure a round thing with a flat ruler. So we're going to need something that bends around. Do you remember which of these things bends and can help us measure the round globe? Yeah, it's the meter tape, right? These things won't be super helpful because they don't bend around the globe. Just like if you're trying to measure how long around a soccer ball is, right? You can't use your ruler, your flat ruler. You need something that bends like paper, right? Or tape. So we're going to use the meter tape here. Great work. Now, your exit ticket today, we're going to kind of do together. Okay. And before we do this, we're going to think about what we discussed earlier in the class with 1 meter. Remember, this here is 10 centimeters, right? 10 centimeters. Does anyone remember how many of these you need to make 1 meter? See, a couple people remember. Yeah, how many do we need? Yeah, 10 of these. We need 10 of these to make 1 meter, right? Does anyone remember how many centimeters 10 of these would be, or how many centimeters 1 meter would be? Remember, we counted up? Yeah, let's count up again. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90. What was that? Yeah, 100, right? We need 100 of these. Or not 100 of these, 100 centimeters. Or 10 centimeters to make our 1 meter. And that's kind of going to be what our exit ticket's all about. Okay. It says Pam wants to make a meter stick. She has 7 10-centimeter rulers. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And I know that each of these is 10 centimeters, so I can say 10. Right here is going to be 20. This next one is 30, right? All the way. How many centimeters does she need, right? Or how many more 10-centimeter rulers does Pam need in order to take 1 meter? Remember, 1 meter is 100 centimeters. Or do you remember how many 10-centimeter rulers we need to make 1 meter? How many of these? Yep, 10. Okay. So based on that, how many more 10-centimeter rulers does she need? And you can draw any more that you need here so that she has enough to make a meter stick. So you can draw it out. So she has a full meter stick. So it should be 100 by the end. And then fill out this sentence. It says Pam needs blank more 10-centimeter rulers to make a meter stick. Okay, I want you to work on this for 5 minutes by yourself. If you finish early, you can raise your hand. Okay, so we can go to work, and then we'll talk about the answer after. All right, let's review this answer. So it says 30. We can start by labeling the rest of this. 40, 50, 60, 70. The 70 is not enough, right? So she needs 1 more to make 80. 1 more to make 90. And 1 more to get to 100. Now the whole thing is 1 meter, or 100 centimeters. So how many more did she need? She needed 1, 2, 3 more. She needed 3 more 10-centimeter rulers, or 30 more centimeters, right, to get to 1 full meter. All right, so good job on that. Now, for the next 15 minutes or so, you're going to hop on your computers and work on iReady. Now, iReady, I think you did this earlier this week, but is a really cool program, right? And it's an awesome way to practice your math skills and learn some new math skills. And now each of you is going to have a very different thing you're working on. Now, some of you might have a similar or same problem that you're looking at, but in general, most of you are going to be working on a very different one, right? It's kind of like if you and your family go to the ice cream shop, right? Or you and your family go to the fair, or go to Chuck E. Cheese, for example, or any other restaurant. Do you all get the same thing? Do you and your dad order the same food or get the same ice cream flavor? No, right? Because that would be kind of boring. And maybe you don't like chocolate and your dad does. Or maybe your mom likes mint chocolate chip and you think that's kind of gross. That's fair, right? Kind of the same with iReady. iReady knows what math you need to work on. That's going to be different from what your partner, what your friend next to you or behind you is working on. So when you're working on iReady for 15 minutes, I want you to stay quiet, stay focused on your screen, and try your very best, right? Because iReady is going to be trying its very best to teach you and help you practice and grow. So you need to make sure that you're also trying your best, right? And in that way, you're going to be able to become a much better mathematician, right? Or math person by practicing as hard as you can for these 15 minutes. We're going to be doing this a couple days a week. And that way, right, in addition to our time together, iReady can help you grow to, get great at math. And the harder you work, right, the more challenging, more new problems that you're going to see. So, just work hard and try your very best. Okay, second grade, I'll be stopping by your classroom tomorrow on Friday to come say hello. So looking forward to that. And yeah, keep up the great work, right? Loving that, we're not talking as much, so it's something we can continue to work on, but I'm loving the growth I'm hearing. So great job, second grade, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.